Hey, Poskies and Poskers, it's your podcast Pa here. Welcome to the 3 Gen Patriot Podcast. I am the son, the dad, the granddad, the trifecta, the poobah. Today is a very special, very super duper duper special July the 5th edition of the podcast. The 3 Gen Patriot Podcast with your podcast Pa. Tomorrow's the 6th. Tomorrow is 18 days. 18 days until we move to Florida. Now, I know I promised all of you that I would do a daily update and then a road blog, which I'm going to do. But I had to take it kind of yesterday was 4th of July, right? It was celebratory. So today, I'm just kind of kicking back. I was like, what do I want to do today? What do I want to say today? Kind of thinking about it. I'm always on the fly. Always thinking about it on the fly. You know? Wings. Wings of inspiration. That's right. Oh, what do they call that? What's that called? Was that called the with the chicken hawk or something? But used to do that shit back in the 60s with mashed potato, that kind of thing. No, it's not like that. Wings of inspiration are big and golden, and you can't see them unless you are inspired. See? You have to be inspired. I'm inspired. Let's talk about 4th of July. For a true constitutional patriot like myself, who knows the Constitution, knows that it's absolute, the amendments, the rights, and the words of that document are absolute. And by the way, Miss, I say this begrudgingly, Judge Coney Barrett, the Declaration of Independence is absolutely a legal document. Everything in it is legally binding. It is authority, it is law, and it is legally enforceable. So, now that I digress. The 4th of July was a nice break, right? You're cooking your barbecues, you're making your hot dogs, whatever. You're maybe lighting some fireworks, black cats, things like that. M80s, like that. Trying to blow a hole in the street. Not that the streets around here need any help. There's enough potholes in them already. But then again, commies don't like to fix infrastructure. They just like to complain about things. So anyway, before you go blowing holes in the street, or if you did yesterday, good on you, whatever. Let's talk about the 4th. The 4th of July. What does that used to say in the South? The 4th of July. There is plenty to celebrate in this country. The small government, consent of the governed, has not existed for over 120 years, since roughly the 1840s. But it could again, very easily. I'm not going to say how, but I think we're all thinking the same thing, right? You're thinking what I'm thinking. So, mull it around. Do I want it to come to that? No, I absolutely don't. But I'm not the only one who's saying it. I'm not the only one, who's whispered the R word. Because after all, the Second Amendment was written for that. The Second Amendment. Sorry, I thought somebody was sneaking up on me, creeping in the bushes. Yeah. Can't stand you creepers. Creep, creep, creep. Yeah. Doing like this. You know what I'm saying? Creepy shit like that. So I'm going to close the door on opportunity for creepers. So anyway, the Second Amendment gives us the right, the authority to overthrow our government, should that government ever begin to work for its own self-interest and not in the good of the people. Stops working on the consent of the governed, by and for the consent. Govern for the consent of the governed. That's us. Are they doing it? No. Now, before all you libtard, start thinking that I've gone, no, I haven't. But I feel the knife of betrayal in my back. Believe it. And I'm talking to you, Patel, Bongino, Trump. I'm just going to come out and say it. Those of us who support those who speak as though they love and defend the Constitution as anyone should, and then do the exact opposite. So the 4th of July has special meaning. It reminds us of just how fake and phony the government really is. But this isn't an anti-government episode. This is a celebrate the 4th for the sake of the 4th. What was the 4th for? It was to celebrate our independence, our declaration thereof. Now remember, folks, the Constitution wasn't drafted, ratified, and signed until 1787. Many, many, many years past the Declaration. And the Constitution replaced what document? Anyone? Bueller, Frye, the Articles of Confederacy. That's right. So, celebrating just the acknowledgement that, hey, we are independent. We are free people. So yeah, the 4th of July is that. And that's what it should be. But don't let anybody tell you that it's anything different. And don't listen to anyone who tries to fill you full of this born yesterday, mashed potato head, progressive, commie idiocy. I will listen to any argument if that argument is an educated, fact-based argument. Not emotion. Emotion has no reason. Emotion has no logic. And emotion has no maturity. Just saying. I'm just saying. Don't hate the player. Hate the game. All right, baby. Don't hate the player. Hate the game. Okay. So if you're going to come at me up here. Not here with all your, I need a diaper change. My poopy diaper needs to be changed. No, I don't want to hear it. Because I'm man enough to admit when I'm wrong. Prove me wrong. Prove your argument. No. And listen here, kids. All right, listen here. The old Posky, the Grand Poobah, the Ski. All right, the Tower of Power, Ski. Pa, 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 pa. You hear it echo through the mountains. Is coming down. My voice thunders down the slopes because I am the Tower of Power. I am the top of the mountain. The podcast pa. The original Ski, baby. The original Posky. Listen to me when I tell you this. The United States of America is not a democracy. Pourquoi? I say, poppycock, bully. Oh. Ladies faint. Dogs vomit. Old men void their bowels on the ladies that fainted, and that's why the dogs vomited. Oh yeah, it's pandemonium, it's chaos, it's bedlam. But it's true, also. So sorry, cupcakes. A constitutional republic is not a democracy. You know what a democracy is? You're gonna love this. A democracy is Venezuela. Oh yeah. Orale. Democracy. Oh yeah. Orale. Tough guys don't do math. Tough guys deep fried chicken for a living. Orale. Stand and deliver. Yeah. But no, I'm serious. That's where the proposed vote of the citizen body, the popular vote, is tallied, and the winner gets the most popular votes. What separates us as a constitutional republic from a democracy is our electoral college. It's also what prevents the fraud that happens in places like Venezuela, where, the ruler just happened to get 95% of the vote, even though 65% of the country is starving to death. And none of their businesses are successful because they have to give all their money to the government. How about that? He must be one hell of a snazzy dresser. Yeah, that's what happens in a democracy. We have democratic framework for certain systems within our structure. That's why we're not a democracy, dude. If we were, the popular vote would be the only vote, and it would be fully and wholly corrupted. Even more so than it is now, but I'm just saying. So, is it perfect? No, it never was. It never will be. But and this is what my story ties into. Having to leave this state, because this state is becoming more of a Venezuela, right? It's heavy government influence in everything. And the policies are terrible because they don't work. Drive up prices, cost of living. The business environment driven out because of regulation and taxes. But there will come a day when there's no more states to run to. When there is no more state to run to. Transfer or not, even if your wife gets transferred like mine. But if you were to up and move of your own accord, eventually there's nowhere left to run. You have to fix the problem because you can't keep running. So listen to the podcast, Pa. Listen to your papa. Okay, come sit on Papa's lap. There you go. You're unpopular. Now listen up. Podcast Pause Fact of Life. You cannot run from a problem that starts in the same country that you live in. And if every other country on the planet is different than yours, what best chance do you have? Save the country you live in. Save the state you live in. Because eventually there's no more states to run to. Now, the 4th of July is a Declaration of Independence. That's the anniversary that we celebrate when they actually signed it and formally put their necks on the block. We wouldn't be celebrating it if that hadn't worked out so well. Yeah, sometimes in life you have to put your neck on the block. No guarantee it's going to work out, but just remember, the 4th of July is not a holiday to celebrate the revolution. It's a holiday celebrating the day our founding fathers put their necks on the block and had no idea if they were going to hang or not. In fact, most of them probably thought they would hang, that it would fail. And we're celebrating that day because that is what America is, what it should be. Celebrating the risk takers, celebrating those who believe so strongly in something that's true and real and right and godly and moral. They're willing to bet their lives on it. Because after all, if your life is worth more to you being oppressed in an ungodly system than it is to you risking it for a godly, just, free system, that's what we're celebrating. That's what the 4th of July is all about. Celebrating the standing up for God, country. And at that time, it was God, country, and individual. What has very quickly become known, God, family, country. Right there. Individual. So, your podcast pa. Remember that. Remember what we're actually celebrating. Make it real. Keep that in mind. All right, Poskies and Poskers. I will see you. Sorry, somebody's trying to creep up in my house here. I may have to drop them. Anyway, keep the faith. Remember, if you keep the faith, you keep everything. If you don't keep the faith, you keep nothing. All right? Podcast Pod coming at you for the new week. Weekday, Monday. Boom. This was just a little fun little update just to remind you all what the 4th of July really is. Remember that. Remember what it really is. It is the celebration of those who just were willing to sign their death warrant because they believed in God, freedom, country, and individual, which we have now become. God, family, country. That's what we're celebrating. Not the winning of it, the risking of it, the belief in it is so right we're willing to die for. That's what we're celebrating. Much love, Podcast Pa.